Hey there guys, this is Doster. Once again, I'm just responding to a few of the comments that I've received on my YouTube channel. So, Grody Bones commented, "People can shut off their brain just by looking at something?" This was on a video where I was describing the process of vision boundary exploration. It is an awareness technique, it works with perception dynamics, and Grody Bones, I believe you've left this comment on the short of this video, so you actually need to go and watch the full video. And to answer your question, yes, you can shut off your brain just by looking at something. If you concentrate hard enough, if you meditate hard enough, if your perception is developed to a higher enough degree, then you will go into beta wave brainwaves, yes, and that is something that you can develop for yourself through perception dynamics, through techniques such as candle gazing. So my suggestion is go and listen to the full video where I describe all the backs and forths. And of course, it could be that you do not understand this or you do not believe this because your mind is so active, your mind is so strongly conditioned that when you perceive something, your mind is still going. Yes, you have to have a strength of perception to quiet the mind. It takes a bit of skill, it takes a bit of practice. And if you've been conditioning yourself very much through the internet and through screen time, then it's not possible. You have to go through the cleansing process. You have to follow the process. It takes time, it takes work. Now, Bill Williston 6138 commented, "He's trying to get you to notice his teeth. Vampire much, lol." Yes, well, very sorry about this because I made some shorts that were cut from the larger video, and the way that it had done it, my face was very close up. So very sorry about that. And yes, I do know, if you look, I see I have vampire in my ancestry, which I replied to you. So very sorry about those videos, guys. I didn't mean to have my face. I know, it's like you don't want to see that. That's just like, it's better just to listen to me. If you go to my YouTube channel, it's better if you just listen and don't look at my face, to be honest. So next comment comes from Stephen Holmgren 405. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. You said, "I understand the message here, but the title of the video is going to turn people off. Alex is a mature, beloved, and respected YouTuber philosopher. He doesn't really deserve that jab." Yes, well, I had a number of comments on my video about Alex O'Connor, where I said that O'Connor needs to grow up and expand into larger forms of consciousness and sort of expand his philosophy. And I hear what you're saying, because I was being a provocateur, yeah? I was being jousty and more sort of harsh to sort of get a reaction, to try and stir something up. So, very good point of view to say that, he probably doesn't deserve that jab, and I hear what you're saying. So, another thing I found on that video is a lot of you didn't understand the point of what I was saying. Yes, you didn't hear what I was saying. You didn't get it. And if you want to know more about my views and what really the point I'm trying to make is, you can listen to my audiobook. Yeah, that's 10 hours of material. That's 10 hours of philosophies, psychology, and techniques and actual real world methods that you can do to understand a deeper level. Yes. Now, the reason I was jabbing at Alex O'Connor is because if you look at the spectrum of consciousness, through any line of developmental psychology, you see that the rationalistic, pluralistic paradigm, which is he's between, right? He's somewhere between rationalistic and pluralistic, is only halfway through the spectrum, yeah? There's also flex flow, global perspectival paradigms, metamind, overmind, ego awareness, and all these different structures, whether you're looking at Fowler, Gebser, Keegan, Claire Graves, or cognitive lines in general, right? There's so much more to discover. There's so much that he is not getting. So that's why I'm going after Alex O'Connor and why I made that point. Now, of course, anyone who talks and tries to communicate never really knows if they are communicating. There's this story of Bodhidharma, who was an enlightened master who used to sit and talk facing a wall. Yeah? He used to actually face a wall, and instead of giving his discourse out to his audience, to his students, he would speak to the wall. And they always asked him, why do you talk to the wall? Why aren't you speaking to us? And he would say, because I get my message across more to a wall than to the people listening to me. And that was from Bodhidharma, an enlightened master, a very interesting person. So what actually ended up happening was one day a student came to Bodhidharma while he was talking to a wall, and the student cut off his own hand with a sword. Yeah, he actually cut it off, and he threw his hand at Bodhidharma, and it landed in his lap. And Bodhidharma goes, "What the hell are you doing?" And the student says, "I am serious enough to hear what you say. Turn around and talk to me, or I will cut my other hand off. I will get someone to cut my other hand off." Or, of course, he's going to need help. It's going to be a bit difficult to cut your other hand off when you've cut one of them off. But then, of course, Bodhidharma goes, this guy is crazy. I'm going to turn around and start talking to him. But that shows what it means to be dedicated, to actually want to hear, to actually be open to hear, to cut off your own hand, and how different that is to the communication through a screen like this, through a YouTube video like this. In a YouTube video like this, you've got to put bikini girls and cute cats and be really clear thinking and be really charming and be really good looking. All of these things I don't have. And then maybe people listen to you. Then maybe you get your point across. And even then, if you're doing something like discussing vision boundary logic or vision boundary perception dynamics and higher structures of human consciousness into second tier multidimensional spectrums of value spheres, then you just forget about it. Just get out. You got no point in understanding what is going on about this. So that's a little bit about that. That's a little bit about what it's like to communicate, to try and get a message through, and to never really know. So another comment comes from who is Laiteor. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing this right. I'm trying to pronounce it. Who is Laiteor? They said, "I'm hearing you, bro." And then they also commented, "What does it mean to be enlightened?" So this was on the video where I was talking about before and after enlightenment. And one thing I didn't mention is that before enlightenment, you think no one is enlightened. After enlightenment, you see that everyone is enlightened. That was one I needed to add to the list. So this question of what is enlightenment, what does it mean to be enlightened, is a very interesting question. And to have this question arise, to even be contending with this question, shows that you're already interested in something more intelligent, more higher, more elite than what most people are chasing after, yes? Now, it is a big question. There is a lot that we can discuss about it. Enlightenment, so just quickly to say a few small things as an outline. Enlightenment can be a state, which is temporary. Enlightenment can be a permanent structure that you develop yourself into, a structure of mind, body, heart, soul, and spirit. Enlightenment can be a realization, a temporary insight, yes? Enlightenment also can be the totality of all existence. It can also be an experience of God or an experience of the divine or an experience of something bigger than you. So we can go into this. It's a bit of a rabbit hole. We don't really have time to do it in just one short video, but you can actually understand what enlightenment is and have that as a journey that you learn more and more about. Now, in my audiobook, I tell the story of the guy that sat down at the breakfast table and asked the question, what does it mean to be enlightened? And this was when there were a lot of people around me who were very much enlightened, some of the most enlightened people I know. And this guy came along and asked this question with these people that I was associating with, living with, friends of mine for many, many years. And it's a very telling story. It's a very opening story as to what it means to be enlightened. So that story is in my audiobook. If you want the full story, you can go and check that out. So thank you very much for your comments. Please do subscribe. I need your help. Let's keep the conversation going. You know, I don't mind the nasty comments either. You can leave me nasty comments as well. You know, it's better than nothing, to be honest. So thank you very much. I'll be back very soon with more.